I feel like there's something very strange going on with Scream 6 right now.
Hello?
Yo, Nev's getting stiffed worse than Ghostface victims, so she took a stance to expose a crooked system. Never settle for less, get the respect you deserve. Keep your standards high and make sure your voice is heard. Peace. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So there's been a lot of talk and rumors recently about the future of the Scream franchise, and all signs are pointing to the franchise heading in a new and bold direction. In any other situation, I would be excited by that prospect. I think it's smart to reinvent yourself just so things don't get stale. When you are successful at doing that, that's how a popular franchise becomes a long-standing franchise.
That makes sense.
We are now 5 movies into the Scream franchise, and I'd be lying to you if I said it was all perfect. Because there has been a lot of speed bumps along the way when it pertains to these movies. Troubled productions being one of the biggest problems that this franchise has faced. But it always seemed to overcome, because I would argue that Scream, even in its darkest moments, managed to maintain its rabid fan base. Its loyal fan base. That was until Scream 5, which I believe is the most divisive film in the entire series. In fact, I'd say there's 2 types of people in the world. People who love Scream 5 and people who absolutely hated it. Some viewed it as a proper reintroduction of the franchise to modern audiences. Others, like myself, felt like it was devoid of many of the elements that we love about Scream. And this is most likely chalked up to the lack of involvement of the late great Wes Craven. But regardless of all of this, it was a success, and we are getting another Scream movie because of it.
You didn't see that coming.
That being Scream 6, and it's been announced that the movie will take place for the first time in New York City. Is the prospect of Scream taking place in a new location exciting to me? No, not really. Scream has left Woodsboro before in its second and third installments, so it's not really that huge of a departure. Now if they name it Ghostface in Manhattan or some shit like that, then that might be some cause for concern. At that point, we are just one film away from a Ghostface Goes to Space installment in the series. Space, where once great franchises go to die.
That's right, it stinks!
The truth is that a New York setting, a return of Kirby, a return of Gale Weathers, none of this really changes my mind any about this movie. And certainly none of the new characters are going to pull me in because I found them all to be mostly forgettable. But that brings me to the big issue at hand. Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott herself, has confirmed that she will not be a part of Scream 6.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
And this is mostly being chalked up to some kind of contract dispute. Which obviously tells us that she was very much supposed to be in this movie, and now they will have to do some rewrites to take her out of it. But it's the reason she's not returning that seems to be getting people all worked up. Neve Campbell herself was quoted as saying, "As a woman, I have had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. I felt the offer that was presented to me didn't equate to the value I have brought to the franchise." Yes, Queen! And now even some of her former co-stars are coming out in her defense. Most notably Matthew Lillard, who said via Twitter, "The fact that Neve Campbell isn't getting paid her worth is straight up sexism. I think it's horrible. Did Tom Cruise take less money for Top Gun Maverick? Fuck no, dude. So why is a woman supposed to take less? Why wouldn't you pay her more as the series goes on?"
I'm feeling woozy here!
Now you all know me, I'm not one to buy into all these claims of sexism in Hollywood, especially when I don't know the whole situation or who is involved in these decisions. But I will say this, it's not hard for me to believe that they lowballed her with her contract. If for no other reason, I just don't believe that the powers that be recognize her worth, or her importance to this franchise, which is pretty mind-boggling to think about.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Now, you may personally be interested in a new direction for the franchise, and that's fine. But the fact remains that Scream is Sidney's story. It's told through her eyes. Sidney Prescott is Scream, and there's no getting around that. And based on how the creative team utilized her in Scream 5, it only reinforces my suspicions, as they basically turned her into a glorified cameo in that movie after using her image to sell the movie with the trailer.
Not in my movie.
So I do think it's fucked up that they couldn't break her off a bigger piece of that pie that they clearly couldn't earn without her. The franchise has been built on her shoulders, and I believe the new team involved has shown her nothing but disrespect. And that's all solidified by this apparently piss-poor financial offer. This to me is the very definition of Hollywood greed. And it kinda confirms my suspicions that Scream 5 was nothing more than a lazy cash grab to begin with.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
I have so much more respect for Neve Campbell now, not just because of what she helped create, that being one of the greatest horror franchises of all time, but also for her knowing her own worth and refusing to settle for less. As a content creator who talks about movies, my whole job revolves around me not settling for less when it comes to my entertainment. I have standards, Neve Campbell has standards. Basically, it's okay to have standards.
I'm not shitting on you.
If the new team behind Scream doesn't understand the importance of Sidney Prescott, or the importance of the very fans that they chose to insult in their last movie, then maybe the franchise is no longer worth supporting. The moral of the story is, don't be afraid to speak up and don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. And sometimes you have to make difficult decisions and cut ties just to remind people of how important you really are.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?
Y'all be cool. Shut up.